You're about to listen to Enthusiastically Self-Employed, the podcast created for you as a coach, consultant, speaker, and/or author. I created this podcast for those of us who are enthusiastic about growing our business and learning along the way. My name is Brenda Meller, and I'm your host. Prior to becoming enthusiastically self-employed, I was a corporate marketer who always admired those who were self-employed. Through this podcast, I'll share my learnings and expert guest interviews with you. You'll learn business, marketing, and LinkedIn tips to help you as a solopreneur or small business owner. Remember to follow this show to get the newest podcast episodes loaded into your podcast player of choice. Now let's get started. Welcome back to the show. Today's episode, I want to talk to you about my member directory. I was inspired thinking about this because it was one of these things where I'm like, have I ever done a podcast episode telling people about my membership directory? And I actually keep a list in Google Sheets of all of my podcast episodes for this very reason. So I can quickly look up, search for topics, things like that. Now, I used to call myself a lazy marketer because I like to find little shortcuts and things like this. And then my friend Pam Lippitt of Pamela Lippitt Communications, she said, Brenda, stop calling yourself a lazy marketer because it sounds bad. What you really are is you're a really efficient marketer. You figure out creative ways of doing things that shorten your time frame. So yes, Pam, I'm listening to you, and I'm going to talk in today's episode about one of these little tricks I've been doing all along that's helping to shine the spotlights on members of my communities, as well as creating a resource for me to easily find information. So basically, it's a membership directory. It's a public webpage. You can go right now to check it out. It's mellermarketing.com/directory. And this is a webpage that I set up. It's probably a year or so back. And it was set up really for me because what was happening is I would be having people reach out to me once or twice a week saying, who do you know that's a resume writer? Or who can help me with SEO for my website? Or, name the product or service, something that I don't specialize in. And people would be coming to me saying, who do you know who does this? And I don't know about you, but for me, I always like to provide referrals first to my clients and my members because I want to give them business, right? And then if I don't have anybody in that current list, I'm going to look through connections or other people that I would vouch for. Maybe I've seen them in action, etc. And then from there, if I don't know anyone, I will sometimes do a LinkedIn post and I'll say, who do you know that's a headshot photographer in Chicago? So I'll just hypothetically saying something like that. And sometimes that will help to locate people. But again, going back to, I want to give that priority attention first to the people that I know. And in the case of, the resume writer, I'm frequently asked from some of my executive clients for help with their career search strategy. Now, I specialize in LinkedIn, and I do work with the self-employed executives and corporate teams, but I really don't do work with resumes. And when I say I don't do work with resumes at all. Like I can look at a resume and if I spot a typo, I'll point it out to you, but I don't specialize in executive resume strategy, nor do I specialize in career research and career search strategy. Sometimes those conversations come up as a result of LinkedIn coaching, but I know the lane that I'm in, and I know when I feel comfortable giving people advice and when I really should be referring it to someone else. So it came up several times, and I started realizing, why don't I just put these people on a webpage and ask them to give me their top 3 topics, services, offerings, things like that. And reaching out, I always reach out to them first, and I decided to make this a bit more systematic. So I use a website provider called Kajabi, where there's a tool inside there, which is essentially, it's like a collection tool, and it's called assessments. And you can have people fill in the blank and input their information. You can ask them questions, etc. So I use this assessment tool to gather the information from the people, including I ask them, is it okay if I use your LinkedIn headshot photo? And there's a yes, no. And I say, if you've selected no, please email me your photo, at another location. Usually they say yes to the LinkedIn headshot photo. Every once in a while, someone will say, no, I have a better photo. I just haven't uploaded it to my LinkedIn yet. And then the next question is, please provide me one key product or service. And I've started to refine this a bit over the years. And now I think I say in 3 to 5 words or less, because I had one person who gave me like a whole paragraph for 3 different times and it was just way too long. So a little bit of a learning on there. But I usually say, think about when people are coming to you looking to work with you, what are the words and phrases that they're seeking from you? So for example, SEO strategy, not website design, or whatever those words are that they're coming to you. So I give them the opportunity to do 3. And then I say, please include 1 web link. It can be your LinkedIn URL. It can be your website. It can be your join my email list. It can be any web link, but I give them the space for 1. Okay. Now, once I have all that information, it gets uploaded to my website through this assessment form tool that Kajabi has. And then I get an email notification that the assessment tool has been completed. That way, people aren't sneaking in the back door if they're not a part of my membership community to get their information added. So I actually review these before they go onto my website. And then I build it, and I have this set up on a web page, and it's basically in a 3-column format. And because sometimes there's not perfectly, a grid of 3, I've also created some graphics that say this could be you, and those go to the bottom. Some days I have 1 of those graphics showing. Some days I have 2 graphics showing. I wouldn't necessarily, there's some days actually I might have 3 if I have a perfect grid in place. At any rate, I have those all set up. And right now I have this set up where it's alphabetical by the person's first name. I don't know. I just want to make it easy on your brain when you scroll through the webpage. So I think at the very top is Annette Richmond, because Annette alphabetically comes first before Christopher Johnson and Pam Lippitt and other people in the list. So I have it set up that way, and I might modify this in the future and maybe put it in different categories or have a drop down where you can click on the service and see who comes up in the searches. But for now, I just have this alphabetical, have the person's photo, a list of their 3 products or services, and a link where you can learn more. Now, in terms of my members and getting them to participate, I do have to nudge them a little bit. And sometimes they say yes, and they haven't submitted it yet to me, so I might nudge them a few times. And when I hold a group coaching call or a session, I'll remind them that this is a benefit of membership, and I dangle a carrot in front of them. And I'll say, I'm also going to be posting about this next week on LinkedIn. It's going to be my Marketing Monday feature. So if you get your information into me this week, you're going to be included in that. And by the way, I've got over 70,000 followers on LinkedIn. And I'm also going to do an email blast out to my full VIP email community. And I've got a little over 5,000 subscribers on that list. So by the way, you're going to be included in that email if you've submitted your information to me. So I do this to help them because I want them to get more visibility. And I'm also doing it because it is a nice way of merchandising members in my community, helping them to get more business, and thereby helping people like you who might be thinking about joining one of my communities in here as well. Now, I do currently have 2 communities that I'm running. One is my signature social selling program focused on LinkedIn. It's called The Recipe for Social Selling on LinkedIn. And the other is Marketing with Meller, which is a membership and learning community focused on marketing for the self-employed. So 2 different routes. I do have a few members that are members of both The Recipe and Marketing with Meller, but usually people will go into one option or the other. Now, I haven't designated on the webpage which community they're a part of, if it's Marketing with Meller or Recipe. It just says at the top that this directory is a membership benefit for these members, and they're either a member of one or the other. Yep, I got a link to both of those web pages if you'd like to learn more about either of those programs. But the real focus is on the members. It's not really on upselling visitors to the other things, but it's a secondary focus, that's to be sure. So that's a bit about my membership directory. I would highly recommend creating this as a public web page. I see some people doing this behind a login, so only their members can see the other members. And I know there's some pros and cons with this approach. For me, I want to make this public and accessible for other people, and that will help my members to get more visibility for themselves. And if you do set this up as a web page, do what I do, make the web page super, super simple. Whatever your website domain is, just do /directory. Make it super easy for you to remember and for your members to remember as well. One final bonus tip, and then I'll get you on your way. I put the link for the assessment, that form that people fill out, my members will fill out. I put it on the bottom of the webpage. So if you scroll all the way down to the bottom, it's really tiny and it's on the bottom. Most people aren't going to dig around and find it, but I always let my members know if you ever want to update or change your information or submit it for the first time to click on that link. So that makes it like marketing on a silver platter, makes it super easy for my members to find that link, And also it helps to make it easy for me because I can just point them there without having to dig around and find the assessments. Aha, lazy marketer, right? Nope. No, my friend Pam said I'm not a lazy marketer. I'm just really efficient. But I do hope that you enjoyed today's podcast episode. And if this does inspire you to get a membership directory on your website, do let me know. Send me a link and I'd love to check it out. Until next time, my friends, this is Brenda Meller, and thank you so much for listening. Have a great day. Hey, if you're looking to learn more about marketing techniques to help to shape your business, whether you're self-employed or maybe you're a small business owner and just need to brush up on some different areas of marketing, I'm here to help you. I come from a corporate marketing background and I'm always weaving in really great marketing techniques into my business, and I like to teach those techniques to you. Join Marketing with Meller by going to mellermarketing.com/join. You can join for just $67 per month. What are you waiting for? Join today. mellermarketing.com/join.